So with Lismore, the idea is it's abstract, not to you, but to Lisa and I live in America. We are here in Kauai. We have different versions of Lismore, right? We've had a hurricane come over this place where we're sitting here right now. So there is something about
fires in California, huge fires in California,
droughts.
Now huge floods.
Is there something where the authenticity of your experience and your community's experience and our capacity to connect to that is actually something that is fundamental to what's coming, to us figuring it out together? This is what a human being goes through when they actually are in this crisis. This is what a community goes through when it actually has to deal with realities. Right. And so that's really an interesting framing for us, is to say, is there something that we can contribute by connecting to people like yourself, to organizations like yours, that and work with you to say, okay, let's think about how could Lismore become a source of intelligence, a source of authentic experiences, a source of some kind of human capacity that we need more and more so every day, right? As the climate reality that we're now facing is hitting community after community, where do we learn? Where do we connect at the emotional level, at all these different levels? So that's just to add a little bit of another flavor to what David and Ivan said.
Yes, the community is overwhelmed, but they really do want us as the council anyway to be more proactive in this space and to do something, and coming up with adaptation measures would be exactly what they would want. Using Lismore as a case study or as a way for best practice to share with the world is definitely great and inspiring.
If someone's coming from Sydney or Melbourne or overseas or whatever, you want to incorporate like fun stuff. And one of the things that's like sort of stood out, PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, created something called The Outside. But they had about 3,000 PwC associated professionals go for a 3-day shindig, like it was sort of the Coachella for consultants. And what's that desert thing again, Herman? I always forget the name.
Burning Man?
Burning Man.
Burning Man.
So it's Burning Man or Woodford or whatever. So what I was thinking of is, instead of just having talks and a 2-day festival of talking, why don't we have it as a festival? Like sort of,
I think Lismore would love that.
Blues Fest or Woodford or whatever. How cool would it be to actually have a festival focused on climate?
So if I can ride on your direction, what I wanted to ask Jamie, initially I wanted to call the event Lismore Byron event.
But what's your thought about it? I mean, this idea of, like, imagine
I think if it was as a community member, I think if it was Northern Rivers focus, that would be really good. And then if it could be in Lismore, instead of driving everyone to Byron again, because Byron get all the economic advantage from that, is really to get the Lismore stakeholders together. So people working already in food security, agriculture, flood, bushfire, that type of thing, SES type responses, all together to work out. I was thinking to do an iterative process, stakeholder workshops before we take it to the broader community, to work out our vulnerabilities based on the New South Wales government has already done our scientific projections for us. So working out the impacts of that. And then the next sort of workshops or 2 workshops would be focused on brainstorming ideas for each community group or system in terms of food security, tourism, businesses, that type of thing. So if this event would then happen sort of around or after that space, when we could take it to the broader community, we would like to bring on a local Widjabul Waiable or a Bundjalung. So we sit on the Bundjalung Nation. Lismore is the Widjabul Waiable people of the Bundjalung Nation. Bundjalung reaches from Tweed or further beyond Tweed, all the way down past sort of Evans Head area to the Clarence. So within the Bundjalung, there are different groups. We would like to bring in either a Widjabul Waiable, Lismore specific, or someone from the Bundjalung to bring in a cultural element of climate adaptation, because we don't see that you can pull culture and nature separate. They're so intertwined, and the Bundjalung culture is really an asset for our ability to be able to adapt. So my specific project is not looking at how we can stop climate change. We're taking the sort of worst case projections and saying, look, we've got to live with this, like what you were saying before, Herman. We can't ignore it. It's going to happen. While separately, we want to do the mitigation as well, but that will be separate. This is sort of working with the community, saying this is what's changing. These are our specific projections for the Northern Rivers. The scientific projections that we have are regional. It's not Lismore. How can we better be prepared and also adapt? The biggest things for us are in our projections are increased heat in the day and in the night, less rain in the winter, more rain in the spring and summer, and more bushfire.
The corporates and the tech that will be showcasing their solutions that will be interested, because like government, local government, state government, they will be focusing on a lot of different areas, not just Lismore. And I guess the idea behind the event will be to draw attention to solutions and getting investment to back those solutions and like scale it out. It might not be something that the state and federal government is interested in, but those technologies that are producing their solutions would definitely want the airtime.